they were, or maybe they weren't. Who knows? Okay, setting up your meeting.
Fabulous.
That's all I wanted.
Only ever bringing us high quality content, Tom.
All right.
With a lowbrow filter.
Oh, we'll bring that.
That's our special gift.
Exactly.
Exactly right. Okay, all right, people. Let us Oh no, I just closed it. No, I closed my browser window, which I had open.
Oh.
Because I was, doing stuff. All right, hold on. Let me ping up or stand up. Yeah, there we go. Launch my game. Regency Cthulhu. Da, da, da. Okay, when last we saw our intrepid heroes, they had met evil cultists. Oh no, sorry, they'd met cultists who worshipped the goddess of the spring, literally, and who said weird things to Eliza and Georgiana Wentworth, which they both reacted to. And Eliza reacted to in a way that suggests Eliza is lining up to, hungry for power. That's the problem with you, Eliza. Whereas Georgiana has the power. That's what's going on there. We can see the envy. Now, in other places, and the rector was politely redirected to other duties to keep him out of pagan recruitment 101.
I'm always happy to help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, if you can keep your pagan cult going for 2,000 years, you've assumedly worked out how to get the priest to be in another room when you're doing the recruiting. Is that true?
But I do have to check on them at some stage.
You do. But in other places, now, were you guys were playing cards at, what's his name? Hold on, I'll get it. Huntington Hall? No, maybe.
Huntley, no.
Huntley Estate. Oh no, the Circle.
We were looking for Sir Culverton, I think.
Yes. Oh,
I've got that, and I've just got games night with the Viscountess.
Yes.
Yes. Huntley family? No, not the Huntley family. No, we are.
Wasn't it the hotel we were staying at?
Yeah, the Crescent.
The Crescent.
The Crescent.
That's it. The Crescent. That's the word I was looking for. The Crescent, where they have a nightly whist and other card games.
Yeah.
Tournament, and I believe the Frenchman and our lady Georgiana the older intend to cut a swathe of ruin through the local gentlery and collect much money in the process.
Also find out about what was going on with, what's his name? Is it Henry? The brother?
Mr. Millwood, who was seen last at the card room with Sir Culverton.
Yes.
Who was a dodgy man. But to do so, you will need to have a credit rating of 50, for this is a high stakes card room.
That's fine with me.
Are you gonna?
Could be a problem, but I think
I'll be bankrolling this one.
Yes, was bankrolling me. Yes.
Okay.
Because I've got a credit rating of 70.
You do. So you're gonna elevate the wealth of the Frenchman,
whose heart flutters when he hears that I've got you covered.
Reginald.
He swoons a little bit.
He does.
Yes.
He does.
Well, I think this might bring back a few memories of my own dear Reggie, the sadly deceased Lord Purbeck. Viscountess of, I can't even, Viscount. He's the Viscount. Yes. Because he was original too. And we played cards together, didn't we?
Okay, so you're playing whist. which is what I was hoping because it's actually a game I played, which is unusual. Rich in Facebook. Viscount Purbeck, yes.
Yeah.
All right, so it's a simple game. So there's large tables set up. Now, assumingly so the way the whist works is you play in teams of two against two other people at the table. And a little bit like a bridge tournament, you move from table to table as you play through the night.
Yeah.
Okay. So to represent your success or failure, you will both need to make gaming rolls.
Mm-hmm.
A success will give you a point. So if both of you get successes, that's 2 points. If one of you gets a success, that's 1 point. And if none of you get a success, that's 0. Your goal is to get to 5 points before your opponents get to 5 points.
Right.
However, so the way it's going to work is when you fail, you're giving a point to the opponent.
Right.
All right. So you're sitting down at a table with some gentlemen who see you and what type of hello, my name is Ebony and this is my friend Ivory. No. My name is Stanwell, and this is my friend Tops. Now, one question. So what sort of very experienced at whist? To just
Was. Of course, we are both very experienced whist players.
oh right, excellent. Okay, so you're not going for the duplicitous, sort of play here. You're going for the honest cards arrangement. Okay. Well, all you need to do then, both of you, is give me a gaming roll, please.
Fortunately, my game is actually quite poor, so you might have started talking up. Let's have a look.
I hope this is going to work for me. Yes.
Ooh,
Yes, it will.
yes, it will. No, it won't. Okay. All right. So that's 1 point to you and 1 point to them as you rapidly realize, Viscountess, that you might be, carrying some water, as it were. The Frenchman who speaks a big game, as it were, might not have the skills to back it in. The first round is a strong showing from yourself, but the Frenchman makes many technical errors in the game.
What cards is he playing? I don't know. I mean, I have 40 years of experience playing whist. I've been playing since I was a child.
You have, and with your 40 points of gaming, that actually marries quite nicely. Whereas Reginald has you're not bad at it, Reginald. You're pretty good.
You just roll badly.
Yeah. All right.
I was
All
waiting
right.
for the opportunity for my gaming to go up next time. All right, second roll. Round 2.
All right, round 2. Ooh, a 10. Another strong showing from the Viscountess.
I'm going to burn 6 points if I can to make that a success.
You can make that choice.
So how do I do that on here? No,
Don't you right click on the
Oh,
I
yes.
think if you just click on the little number, yeah, there it goes.
There it goes.
Did it.
All right, nice. Luck spent. Beautiful. I've been always happy to see a bit of luck burnt through early in the game, particularly on things that aren't about dodging the monster. All right, so the second round, you guys are 3 and they are 1, giving you a clear lead. Now, at the same time, I assume you are pumping them for information on what they might know went down. Both of you can make effectively some version of a talking to people role. That could be up to you. It could be charm. It could be, what's the other one? Probably is charm, actually.
Not charming.
Fast talk.
Fast
No.
talk, that's it.
No,
There it
Not
is.
fast talk.
either.
Terrible.
Persuasive. I
oh,
shall
see,
be
I'm
persuasive.
terrible on fast talk.
Persuasion, that can be the third one.
Charm.
Or
Charm works for me.
intimidate.
Charge, that charm. No, that's all I've got is charm. Also, my skill thing didn't.
Goodness sake. No.
No, because you spent luck. I don't
Oh, you
think
don't
it
get the
counts
tick.
as a success. I think,
Okay, fair enough.
as in for skill, for experience. I don't think it counts as a success if you're
okay.
spending luck to
So-
bring it in.
What did you say? If I'm letting the Viscountess lead the conversation, I'm just sort of backing her up with, yes, of course, and being very gracious about that. Could that possibly be a charm roll rather than something else?
No, I'm totally failed my role. You need to.
It could be a charm roll, or you could give advantage to the Viscountess and allow her to roll
Another
that
die.
roll again. But
Well, I'm happy to do that if that works.
yeah, sure, go for
Yeah.
it.
Okay, so should I roll another D20 D10? No, which
D10.
D10.
Yeah.
D10? Okay, roll that.
Yep, that'll do it.
Okay.
Now, interestingly, you can count that as a success if you have not got a tick against your persuade.
How do we get do you have to double click it?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, you do. That's right. Okay.
But that's just for the Viscountess rolling the dice, yeah?
Correct. Yeah. You've already got a tick against charm, so
Yes.
it probably doesn't matter to you. All right. So, yes. Oh, yes, it was terrible. It was a very, it's a terrible thing with what happened with Millwood and Calverton. I mean, it. Millwood, yep, here we go. Yes, no. Millwood's this is top, not Stanwell. Millwood's a very heavy gambler and not a particularly good one. Some people play with skill, but some people are just hungry, for the win, for the hit. And they're often the worst players.
I've seen the type before, indeed.
Sorry, go.
Oh, sorry. Is this the only place that because we did hear that he was in quite some debt. Is that did he lose all of his money here, or are there other places to gamble as well?
Well,
we heard whispers of some below the salt gambling establishments.
yeah, so I'm afraid it's true that there's a gentleman who runs a much riskier table down in the town, Darren Fife, and I would imagine Millwood was up to his eyeballs in debt to Darren Fife. But he may also, and this is, I just do need to say, sir, I don't know your own circumstances, but I'm struck by the similarities.
Sorry, I thought he was talking about my gambling skills.
Well, in a bit, if maybe in a way, he goes. I mean, the thing about Millwood is it was quite well known that he had no money left, but he came with Culverton all the time, and Culverton bankrolled him.
I see. I mean, this is the problem. If you gamble with gentlemen, and then you know that there is a certain level of respect and safety in that gambling. But if you go to these other lowbrow gambling places, then who knows what might happen.
Well, yes, and I don't know the full story, sir, but I mean, I did hear something quite confronting in the conversation between Culverton and Millwood that happened in the fight that they had.
Oh,
They had a
really?
they had a fight, like
Oh! I don't
actual
want to.
came to blows.
I wouldn't want to judge, but yes,
Sticking your fingers for someone to come and fill that drinks up again.
yeah,
Yeah.
like this. Yes, yes. I'm afraid I heard Millwood say something quite horrific to Culverton. Uh, you'll never have my sister as your plaything.
Ah,
To which Culverton had replied, "Drunk or not, you should never have wagered her innocence."
Oh, mon ami.
I
Oh,
I am not surprised, horrified that a gentleman should stoop so low. But I
Mm.
feared that this may be the case when his sister told me about the kind of gambling he was doing.
Well, I wouldn't want to speak of it, ma'am, but we all know that the person who, ends up owing Culverton, is at risk of losing their very souls.
of course, you just you mean metaphysically, of course, yeah.
Well, sir, it's he did run with a rather rough crowd in London.
Oh, okay. Um, I mean, we have heard that Louisa is in some trouble financially, and I know that the Viscountess is of some acquaintance with her, and of course, I don't think that anyone would like to see a young woman taken advantage of so poorly. So,
No, 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 of course not. But it's between them. Gentlemen wouldn't want to intervene.
of
Ah,
course.
but ladies do. Ladies do want to intervene. Where could I find this Culverton fellow?
Oh, he's got a proper. A property out of town, ma'am. Let me find you the name of Colton's joint. Used to talk to him. Inglemere House.
Yeah, so yes,
Inglemere.
Inglemere House.
Inglemere House. That is his property. Now, while this conversation has been going on, you need to make another gaming roll for me, please, both of you.
okay. Uh,
Not this time.
Okay, are you
I will burn another 2 points, please.
okay? Well, fire your 2 points up. All right. So I assume Georgiana is not burning any luck, so she's
No.
taken the hit.
I'm
All right, so
taking
you're
it.
4 and they are 2. I think this could be the final round. Can we get
Yeah.
a gaming roll from both of you, please?
Go, let's go.
Oh,
Yes.
0-2, Jesus. Reginald pulls it out of the fire in the last moment and goes, "Let me show you how it's done." Or perhaps Reginald
To not look surprised at this turn of events.
Reginald looks money in the eye. So you romp home 5-3. 5-3.
Yeah.
Pegs, the little pegs that you have. Okay. You both gain 1d6 credit from your winnings.
Awesome. So we just roll that now?
Yep. So Reginald, your credit rating is about to go up, buddy.
4.
So you both gain 4. I think we'll make it you both. Oh no, 4.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
there it is. Yep, it was clearly faded. So Reginald, you may raise your credit rating by 4.
So,
I need to do this.
fantastic.
Do this.
Reginald thinks it's time for a new suit.
Nice.
Reginald does make a point of returning any money that the Mike gets him back to.
Well, I'm sorry, Mike. Your mic's gone back to bad Mike as opposed to good Mike.
Yeah.
No better.
No.
You're still evil,
Garble,
Mike.
sorry.
You're underwater
yeah.
with bubbles, Mike. Mike.
Yeah. All right. So we know Culverton's at Ankmere House. The deal the brother made was the worst one that I could have imagined, and he did it.
It's true.
All right. So we know that they came to blows. But where did he go? That's the next thing to find out.
Well, the hint is that he went to the other gaming club,
Right.
which hilariously is not a place for young women, but it specifically is young women.
Yeah.
So you suffer no reputation loss for going. Whereas if you're under the age of 30, you do. I quite like that rule. So
Hooray for the old battle hacks.
that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Very well. I think we shall move the party on.
Okay, so you guys you get some directions to go to the Graves Hotel, which is a hotel in the town. It's of a lower class than the one you were used to. You're warned that they play Hazard, which is a much more challenging game.
Mm. Hazard is nice. I must have looked it up last time because I've got it here, the Wikipedia page open for it.
So yes, so you can play Hazard, or you can play Whist, or you can play winning big at Hazard. You can try and win some serious money at Hazard. There are women of the night loitering around the outside. Yeah. So, do you want to go to the gaming tables at the Graves Hotel?
Yes. Although, do I need to change? I might need to change before I go and put on something a little less flashy than I wore downstairs.
Okay. Somewhat more demure.
Yeah.
Well, interestingly though, anyway, no, you'll find out when you go there. All right. So you and Reginald then depart for to go to Darren Fife's accommodation. Can I? So it's way less salubrious, but like I said, you suffer no reputation loss if you're over the age of 30, and you are. So win.
Yeah.
But you are asked at the door, proof of the guys here are bouncers. They're not.
Yeah.
They're not servants serving you drinks. They're the sort of people who will take you out the back and beat you if you can't pay your debts. All right, so Hazards, as I said, is a complicated game. Basically, you choose a number between 5 and 9. It's called the main. The bets can run into the hundreds or thousands of pounds.
Right.
You roll 2d6 with the goal of rolling the number you chose. If you roll that, you get a fairly significant amount of money. If you lose that, you lose a you lose a D10 or gain a D10 from your credit rating, but you can push the roll and have another go at rolling your main. In the case of this, it's double the risk and double the reward.
Ooh,
Wow.
So you come in and you see that there's, there are various games going on, but the game with all the people around the table is definitely the hazard table.
If you're going to put 5 and 9, then you roll 2d6.
Yeah. So you've got a 1 in 12 chance, well, 1 in whatever, 11 chance or whatever it might be of getting the number.
Wow.
But you can watch the game for a little while if you want before you start playing.
yes, I think we'll watch because I'm not familiar with hazard.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's a little bit like what's it called? What's the one with the spinning wheel?
Oh, roulette.
Roulette. It's a little bit like roulette, right? In the sense that you put your bet on a number and then you roll, then there's a random number. But while you're watching the game, hey, can both of you make a sleight of hand roll for me, please? Turns out no and no. Okay.
No.
Wow, Reginald. Damn it, man. All right.
Shit. Is that a critical?
It's a fumble.
Holy shit.
It's all right. You were just noticing something. So the good news is you're not exposed at this point. All right, cool. No, that's fine. So you see hazard being played. Now, what do you want to do while you're here? And by the way, you are expected to bet at something because, people come around and ask you why you're here if you're not betting.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Play some games, but probably not the upper echelon of gambling as a betting aspect.
Yeah. Well, I'll put down a bet. I might just ask someone who looks nearby who looks more higher status than close to my own status as I can manage
There's
about
actually
how.
quite a few very wealthy people in the room. Like these
Yeah.
bets are not small. This is not a place where you've got, farmers coming in to bet.
Yeah.
This is where the rich people come to slum it.
Slum it. Yeah. Okay.
But explicitly, it's rich people coming to slum it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'll ask another lady perhaps like what's her favorite number to bet on, or I don't know if that's allowed or how it works.
No, it's absolutely fine. You can take whatever model you want to use to choose a potential number. I mean, that's a given part of this model. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. So can I get once again another interpersonal roll, please?
I want to persuade because that's the only one I'm good at.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you are very good at it. All right. So what would you like to know in talking to her?
So just starting up the conversation about the numbers and how it works and everything, and then I'll be like, oh, I heard a young man I'm acquainted with like to come here, and that's why I came to see because he said it was very good here.
Oh.
And then be like, do you know Mr. Millwood?
Mr. Millwood. Hmm. Well, I mean, we know all. Well, yes, but I mean, he was quite, he was in quite a bit of debt to Mr. Fife.
I didn't know that.
You might, it might be best if you talk to Mr. Fife.
Could you point it out to me, please?
Well, he's not here. He's upstairs, she says, pointing.
Oh. how would one go about securing an interview with Mr. Fox? Just a conversation.
Well, I mean, winning big or losing big?
Well, I shall endeavour to win big then. So I'm going to go and put down my first bet on the tables.
Okay. Choose a number between 5 and 9, Jess.
I'll take 7, please.
Okay. Roll the 2d6.
Okay. No.
Oh, sorry to say this, but so close. So close. Perhaps the lady would like to double down on that bet. Now,
D20.
Reginald, do you want to make another sleight of hand roll, please?
Sorry, yes.
Actually, both of you can make sleight of hand rolls. I shouldn't make that point. Bloody
getting
hell,
better.
Reginald. Jesus. It's a good thing we're not counting on you, buddy.
17. You know what? I think I'm going to spend the luck points.
Okay.
I want to know. Spend
You
7
wanna
luck to
know.
par. Okay.
Okay. You notice in the classic way of such things that the ball jumps between it's the classic sort of, hold on a second, that doesn't seem quite right.
This dice feels weird.
Yeah. Good.
All right.
You said something about he was upstairs. Someone else upstairs.
We can barely make you out, Mike. Sorry, mate.
Sorry. And you might have to type your comments, unfortunately.
I don't know how to fix it.
It sounds like a connectivity issue, quite seriously.
Yeah. All right. I feel like. Okay. So I've shook the dice in my hands, and they just didn't feel right, did they? They kept jerking off into one hand rather than bouncing the way they should. And when I rolled them on the table, one of them went roll, roll, in a strange way.
It did.
And who's the, I don't know, is it the croupier who's in charge of the table?
We'll go with the croupier, yep.
Yep. I'm going to look him right in the eye. And I don't know what I want to say to him because I'm not playing with these dice.
Put them down your ample bust.
Do you want to make a intimidate roll for me, please? Or a psychology roll? I'm okay with either. And Reginald, you can make your own rolls if you want.
I'll try psychology.
Okay.
Crush the dice in your hand.
I have a bonus for my ample bosom.
I will give you it. I'll give you an advantage. Yep, because yep, that seems legit. Okay, so Reginald has made his psychology roll.
Is it gonna roll? Is anybody seeing my roll come up because it just disappeared?
No.
Try it again then.
No.
I don't know what happened.
Here it is.
Yeah.
What?
You got a 58 and then a 66, Jess.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's a flag.
okay. It's just my computer running really slow then.
Mhm.
Okay. So
Makes you feel better. I haven't seen it yet, so.
All right.
All right.
It
So
was like game paused and going around in circles there. So
were either of them a success?
No.
No, but Reginald did get a success. So Reginald, you're looking at him. He looks a bit panicked. Obviously, he can see that this woman is about to explode, and he's desperately sort of, with one hand behind his back, gesturing for someone to come and give him some assistance.
I think I should like to go and have a word with Mr. Fife.
Nice. All right. Do you pick up your money from the table?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you suffer no losses.
Lovely.
All right. Okay. You sweep your money up and go, I would like to have a word with Mr. Fife. As it so happens, Mr. Fife would like to have a word with you. So yes, two large
Uh-oh.
gentlemen. Hello.
Are
The
you going
proprietor, one of them very carefully enunciates, would like to have a word.
Well, that is very convenient because I would like a word with him. Please lead the way.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, of course. Yes, yes. That's what we do here. We lead the way. Harold, keep an eye on the back there, mate. Okay, so they both walk, one in front, one behind, walk you up
Yep.
to a set of stairs and take you up to a room. It's the classic sort of I can see everything that's going on the
Yep.
on the gambling floor kind of sitto. There's a tall, thin, wiry man, not particularly well dressed. But he's got a scarred face and has obviously had previous lives have obviously been rough. Yes. I believe you wanted to have a chat. What can I do for you?
Indeed, I did. I take it you are Mr. Fife?
That is indeed my name, ma'am.
Very well.
It was my mother's name. Don't know who my father was, but I imagine he had a name too. Maybe like one of you lot.
I see. You may refer to me as Viscountess Purbeck.
Well, indeed I may. I could also refer to you as, what are you doing in my gambling hall? Both are
Well, I
options.
came to gamble. I
Yes.
came to win and hopefully not lose a very large sum of money. I do enjoy a game of chance, but I do not like it when the dice, as I pull them out of my bosom and slam them on the table, are loaded.
I see. By the way, you may take an advantage to your next interpersonal roll for the presentation of Dice from Bosom as a power move.
That's my power.
Let me tell you who's in. That's right. Let me tell you who's in charge here, my sunshine. I see. Well, I can see you're a woman of refined awareness, Viscountess. An astute observer of people, I gather. And dice, as it so happens.
I am. I do
So,
pride myself on my eye.
sorry, just reading Mike's comment. Yeah, that's pretty funny. A small animal is a particularly nice touch. Because, of course, Boo from the original Baldur's Gate often traveled in, the bosom of the barbarian. Minsk, that was his name, Minsk and Boo. All right. Well, see, and you brought a friend.
Yes, he is a member of my household,
I see.
and he agreed to accompany me here because I did not feel it was a place I could come to alone.
I see. Well, you're probably right. I would imagine it's quite dangerous. Just wandering around here by yourself. Terrible things could happen.
Indeed, they can.
Mind
I
you, for a woman of your grace and beauty, if I may say, I imagine you'd be quite the catch around here.
My heart belongs to one man alone, and I am sorry to say that he has passed, but I hold his memory very close to me.
Well, look, I understand completely. My heart also belongs to only one woman, and she has also sadly passed. But in these times of, survival, I'm just saying, man has needs. Woman might have needs too. I mean, we all remember our dearly departed past. I mean, we do. We feel them right here. But at the same time, the body wants what the body wants. That's all I'm saying.
Mr. Fife, you overstep yourself.
Well, I mean, you are in my gambling hall. I don't know which one of us is overstepping right now. Tell me, Viscountess, what would the rest of the Tons say if, I'm just saying, if word got out. I mean, there's quite a few members down there. Point them out to you if you like. That one over there is particularly unpleasant human being. Anyway.
Yes, I am familiar with him.
I'm
I have
quite
my
familiar
own
too.
story.
He owes me at least
him.
£1,000. Anyway.
Well, I have some information on that particular gentleman.
Do you?
That I could keep his mouth shut, and there would be nothing to say about anything. As if anything could happen here with Reginald and your two gentlemen here.
Oh, yes.
In any case, I wish for no fuss. What I would like, though, to make this evening pass more pleasantly, is information.
Well, I'll tell you what. Would you consider, to make the evening pass more pleasantly, which I also would prefer the evening to pass more pleasantly, perhaps a glass of sherry while we sit down and discuss whatever it is you're looking into, the information that you're seeking?
Very well, a glass of sherry would be most acceptable.
Excellent. Look, Harold, get the sherry and make sure it's the good one. Anyway, and I mean the good one, Harold, just so we're both clear on what I'm referring to. All right. A few minutes later, a crystal decanter and two small crystal glasses are placed. Oh, sorry, I didn't get one for your manservant. I didn't think he should be drinking at the same time. And this is a transaction between us. Well, let's toast to. Tell me, Viscountess, what does bring you down here? What sort of information could you possibly need from a man of my particular relationships and repute?
I need to know what happened to Mr. Henry Millwood.
Ah, Mr. Millwood. Yes, a man of poor judgment and even less skill.
That is what I have come to understand.
A very, very fine producer of income. As is often the case with men of poor judgment and very little skill.
Until he runs dry. And yes, I hear that he has.
He does seem to have run his dash, as it were. Yes, I'm afraid that particularly juicy little morsel is well and truly drained. Mind you, it wasn't all down to me.
No, I also heard that too. I hear there's some cad called Culverton who was behind a lot of it.
Yes, even I. And I hope, Viscountess, you don't take this the wrong way, but I would just like to say there are certain members of your class that make certain members of my class look like the finest of possible upstanding citizens, and Mr. Culverton may actually be case in point.
I take your meaning.
I mean, I've had various dealings with Culverton, and if I could say so, I wouldn't choose to have too many of them. But he is very rich.
Do you know where Mr. Millwood has gone to ground?
Well, here's the thing of it. He didn't go to ground.
But I heard he disappeared in a coach.
He did. Yes. I had just assumed some of his creditors had finally caught up with him.
Well, that was my first thought as well, but it seems more than that now.
Oh, really? Wow. Anyway, yes, there was a coach. He was indeed he did indeed leave in the coach. I will be upfront in suggesting that he may not have gotten into the coach quite as willingly as others may have thought.
Oh,
He was rather unofficial or quite bundled in, as it were.
by Culverton.
No, I couldn't say really. I was just, I wasn't actually there, but no, I don't think it was Culverton. Not his style.
Hmm. So some unknowns bundled Mr. Millwood into that carriage and took him to a
Wouldn't
sticky
know.
end.
Wouldn't know. I must say, the coach itself was quite a nice looking piece of kit. All
And
gold
how
and
do you
black.
know? Gold and black.
Well,
Do you know?
people. Do I know what?
Do you know who it belonged to?
Well, I think that's more than one sherry, isn't it?
Well, how would it be if I was to put out that this was one of the best gambling houses for those wanting a high risk, high reward evening
Well, look,
out
that would
amongst
be
my feet?
lovely, but as you may note, and he points out the window, I'm not exactly suffering from a lack of clientele.
Hmm.
But perhaps dinner.
Dinner. When?
Well, I mean, I don't know how long you in, town
I
for.
will be in town for some more weeks.
Oh, well, why don't we call it next week? Why don't you, perhaps a dinner and, you know, just yourself, of course. But I think we could live without the manservant.
It would have to be somewhere private.
Well, I was assuming that you would not want dinner out in the open with myself. No, I understand how
No.
these things are done.
Very well, dinner.
Excellent. Well, look, let's make that a thing then. I'm not, you know, um, well, look, yes, look, I will be up front. I'm not. There was some suggestion. Let's have a look. Into a black carriage. Oh, yes. Look, I don't know the I didn't see the crest on the carriage, but I will say it had one. I think the thing that struck out for me though was the people bundling our fine friend Mr. Millwood into the carriage were all wearing long white robes.
Long white road.
Yes, it was quite odd. One doesn't see a lot of that. We don't have that many druids around, and most of the people who are of that ilk tend to run with Mr. Culverton.
Mr. Culverton runs with the Druids.
Well, look, I don't want to judge, but some friends of mine in London have mentioned that Mr. Culverton may have at one point been rather heavily involved with a certain set of individuals, young men of a certain nature, who did the most unpleasant of things. Were quite famous for it at one point. They still float around in London. I think you'd have heard of them. Hellfire Club, ring a bell?
The Hellfire Club.
Oh, yes. Yeah, it's been around for some time, but there's always new members, and Culverton, a rumor has it, was one of them.
I see.
Yes.
Well, I shall make sure to be especially on my guard
Oh,
if
God,
I
I
have to
would.
have
I'd
any
even bring
dealings with
people with
him.
a lot of guard. I'd bring a lot of friends if I were visiting Mr. Culverton. I certainly wouldn't trust the man any further that I could throw him. And to be upfront, getting a bit long in the tooth for throwing men through windows, so not very far.
The name on the matchsticks at Millwood House. Oh, the plot thickens. That's where I've heard the name before.
Anyway, so I assume
Yeah.
we're not proceeding to second and third cherries tonight.
Not tonight. No.
Excellent.
I think I shall take my leave now.
Well,
You have
yes,
been
but
more helpful than I
remember,
expected,
dinner.
Mr. Fife.
No. It's been my pleasure, Viscountess. A fine woman like yourself is rare, a rare find in these modern times. Not for me. I just want to say, not for me. Those young, sort of flighty, women. No. I'm always, a stable woman who knows where she wants to be, knows what she wants to do, and has a fine eye for a broken gambling table. Is just the sort of woman I'm looking for. But yes, look, do have a lovely evening.
I
Perhaps I
will.
will see you in a week.
You.
Uh,
I'm not sure how much. Well, I'm sure our dinner shall be very interesting.
well, yes, no, I promise you a fantastic evening. I shall get one of my gentlemen to give you the details closer to the date.
Thank you. I'm to have my rooms at the Crescent, as I'm sure you are aware.
Well, I wasn't, but I had assumed, but very happy to hear that. Fine establishment. And look, lovely to meet you. And at that point, he shuffles you on, or you shuffle yourself on.
I wasn't just going, what that just happened?
It was the power play of the dice from the bosom. Clearly,
Yeah.
just what Fife was looking for. Bosom dice. He couldn't look away. Literally, in this case. That's right. All right, so I'm going to assume you all sort of gather back together at this point. That having done your various independent things, that you sort of are all pulled back towards your rooms at the Crescent.
Yes.
Where I think it's important to note Reginald can bask in the fact that he's wealthier than he was, and Lady Purbeck can bask in the fact that she may be closer to finding, someone to hang with than either of her two wards.
I shall be
And
giving my young wards the edited version of her evening.
that's right, there'll be no mention of this. There's a question about how well Reginald keeps his mouth shut because he was privy to the whole conversation, but
There shall be death glares.
there should be death glares. I see, right. And yes, you find yourselves back at the Crescent where you may now compare your notes from your two separate things.
Right. Well, I shall be inquiring after the young ladies. So, Miss Hastings, Miss Wentworth, how did you find the Ladies Horticultural Society? Were you able to pass on the donation?
Oh, so sorry, Lady Purbeck. We sadly got distracted with assisting with the festivities. The spring ball is of course coming, and so we were keen to meet those people who were organizing it. However, it was quite interesting, I think, that it appeared that one of the servants was actually, I guess, organizing and giving orders to some of the more refined people who are giving patronage to the Horticultural Society.
He was acting above her station, blatantly for all to see.
Unusual.
Indeed. However, of course, you'll be happy to know that there was, of course, a fine gentleman there reading a book Interesting. I didn't happen to catch his name. I was, of course, too busy with the patronage, and absent-mindedly forgot to provide your donation. Here is your gold back.
Oh, well, I shall just have to arrange another time to go and visit those ladies. Maybe, well, I doubt there'll be time at the ball. Maybe after.
No. Perhaps we could all sit around with those who are members of the whole horticultural society and learn more about their charitable works. Perhaps there's a particular project that you'd like to donate to.
Hmm. Yes, well, I'm sure we'll meet all the right people tomorrow night at the ball, and then I shall be able to invite them to join us for tea here.
Yes, that sounds fantastic. But other than that, sadly, there was nothing more that we gathered. What have you, and of course, the dashing Duplessis?
Well, we found out a great many things tonight. Also had a very successful night at the card table, which I'm very pleased about. But Mr. Millwood,
Oh,
oh, he deceived his sister greatly.
in what way?
Well, he told her that he had stopped gambling, and it was a terrible lie. He gambled everything. And I'm very carefully not mentioning everything he gambled.
And I think I just like look at her and I'm just like, everything?
Everything. And the rumors from the people we played with was that he spent a lot, lost a lot. He was not a skilled card player at all. Got himself in an awful lot of trouble.
It's so strange that the accounts of the Millwoods was looking so good.
Must have been. Well, the other thing that we heard is that he was being bankrolled by that cad Culverton.
Oh,
And I found out further information about this man. This man Culverton is very bad news. He runs with the Hellfire Club. And the word was that ran with druids. Druids.
cut.
Strangers still, because we went to a separate gambling club, one that's very unsuitable place to have gone, but
Oh, you're so brave, Viscountess Furbeck.
well, one does what one must. And while we were there, I found out that Mr. Millwood did not leave of his own volition in that carriage. He was bundled into it by people wearing white robes.
What a color!
Could have been anything so strange.
That is that is I've never heard of such a thing.
Can someone I can't even remember. Did Georgiana also get a white robe, or was it just
No.
you?
No, it was just me. But also, I probably haven't opened it yet. Like they gave me a package, but I think I'm still waiting to open it. Maybe I've like put it in my room under my pillow or something, waiting to go back there and actually look at it. So I probably don't know yet the significance, I'd imagine.
The climax of the episode will be the opening of this.
All right. So yes.
Cousin, does that mean anything to you? The idea of robes and druids and all of that?
Well, I suppose that this Aramantia was supposed to be a Roman pagan goddess of some sort. Perhaps it's involved in her worship.
Stranger and
I know
stranger
there's
still.
stories of human sacrifices and things, but that just seems too outlandish. I mean, it's maybe he just owed money to people who didn't want to be recognized, and they thought that dressing up in this strange costume would hide their identity, throw people off.
It is all quite devilish, which makes me think the Hellfire Club must be some sort of occult weirdness.
Could we all roll a sort of, I don't know what knowledge this would be, but to see if any of them actually have any knowledge of this Hellfire Club?
Yeah, you can. It could be occult or history.
Okay.
Perfect.
Which I had.
Yeah,
Nope.
history's better. With my occult, I haven't succeeded.
Could I spend 1 point of luck to succeed that?
You can definitely spend 1 point of luck to succeed at that roll.
Okay.
I think that's the first time, Georgiana's spent luck.
No, I spent luck last time. I think I spent 3 or 4 points to succeed something last time.
All right. Okay, well, you can. With a straight up history check. So the Hellfire Club was a club, or is a club, depending on whether you think it still happens or not, made up of gentlemen from particularly first sons and second sons of very high-ranking noble families who were awful human beings. They went around. They literally were the definition of rake, and caroused and drank. With the history, not the occult, the story is that they certainly there were some rumors that they had sold their souls to Satan, as part of this practice. But they were basically rich, entitled dudes going around sexually assaulting women, all these various other things. They were not nice humans. And at one point, they set up a club outside of London, and there's been rumors that the club never actually shut down. Like it's been running forever. Well, certainly for the last 40, 50 years.
Right.
Well, it sounds as if poor Mr. Millwood has gotten himself mixed up with an incredibly indelicate sort. Hoping that they don't, give him the old what have you. Can't candles stick to the back of the head?
Yes. Well, the one I fear most for really is poor Miss Millwood. I must spend some time thinking how I can protect that poor girl. Goodness only knows what's going to happen to her. There's no money. Her brother is gone, and I don't know if we shall be able to find him. I shall have to think how I can find a good and safe position for her.
Perhaps she should be taken under your charge.
Well, I would very much like to do that, but I shall have to consult with the rector and perhaps my lawyers as well. There are some other things I must consider.
Very well. Well, I imagine that is it tonight, Tom? The spring ball?
It's tonight, as in if you go to sleep tomorrow, it will be no, it's tomorrow night.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, but it is late, so you guys are kind of at the bedding down, going to sleep stage of the proceedings.
Yeah.
Well, I've had quite a day. The miracle of God notwithstanding. due to my, of course, miraculous recovery from being a invalid. Praise be. Saint Anne. I am off to bed, of course, to recite nightly prayers. And I'll bid you fair morrow.
Good night and sleep well, all you young people. I shall just have a quick nightcap with the rector.
Indeed.
I can pull him aside and whisper and tell him the horrible, promise that Mr. Millwood has made.
Oh, right. Oh my God.
I'm just putting down the sherry that I picked up. Oh my dear.
Hearing of the young ladies, once they've gone off to be,
yeah,
it's gonna be oh my God.
And I thought your charges were a handful enough.
Yeah.
Whatever possessed you.
So now I've got to think about what we're going to do with poor Miss Millwood so she doesn't get handed over to that rake, Alderton. I've either got to get her married off tomorrow night at the spring ball, or I'm going to have to make her a governess to someone.
Well, my son Samuel is looking for a wife.
So, Rita, she got that young lady make him a very good wife, and he's got a very good income of his own, and so he would not mind that she would lack a dowry. And of course I would give her a small gift, make sure she had wedding clothes appropriate.
Okay.
And
so we need to find this young man potentially and sort this out. Dear.
If only you had some clue as to where he might have been taken.
Yes, indeed.
Oh.
It was very odd at this place when we were setting up the hall and everything. There were so many women around.
Well, it was the Ladies' Horticultural Society.
Yeah, I understand that. But there was only one man even there, and he was sitting in the middle of the library. There were no male servants around or anything.
Well, now, it's odd. Surely they would have had the footmen, carrying things for them.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I would have thought. All the heavy lifting was being done by the ladies, which was somewhat odd. And I can't help think that they tried to keep me away from your charges.
Do you think there's more going on with these ladies of the Horticultural Society? They were the ones that maintained the spring. We did have such odd visions after drinking the water. Although actually, I believed I was actually transported by that water.
You did.
Yeah. That water has powerful magic in it.
Indeed.
What do you think, Rector?
I think I just want to go and have a nice quiet cup of tea and a sit down. Actually, you really must know. I don't know what to think. I really didn't have much time to engage the young man reading the book. Yes. It would have been good to.
Well, we shall have to investigate much more thoroughly tomorrow night when we attend the ball.
Yes, indeed.
All right. I think we're off to bed, and then do we have time to play some next aid? Yes, we've got half an hour.
All right, so you guys go off to bed. Eliza, do you open the package? in the privacy of your own room.
Can't state how much I do that.
Right, yeah. No, fair.
Absolutely. I think that she's kind of like had it, nestled underneath, her clothes, perhaps kind of like shoved somewhere, like tattooed in her thigh or something like that. And she walks inside, kind of starts to take off some of her clothes. And then, kind of in this kind of whole foray, she hasn't forgotten for a moment that that's there. And so she kind of like, she does the ritual of taking certain things off in case she is, someone walks in, for instance, and recognizing that no one's following, she then just immediately takes it out and just kind of gets, onto the ground, I think, like kind of like you're giving herself a little bit of privacy from the door.
Mhm.
She rips it open voraciously with her long nails and just kind of gleefully takes out, like the cloak, and kind of like feels the kind of, I imagine it's maybe like silk, or some sort of like, fine fabric. Yeah, it was the cloak, something else, and then the dagger. What was the other thing?
I thought
Was there a third thing?
I think
Or
it's
no?
just the dagger and the cloak. Huntington. Got the white robes. Got the dagger. Oh, that's that one. Ah, yes. Okay. Mm-hmm. She seems to say time will come. A linen robe of ceremonial dagger and a note which contains which contains the following message.
Right.
Uncover the entrance at the terraces tomorrow night while the moon is high. None of us may help you or give you passage. Know that no man may pass this threshold or travel with you, lest they be willing sacrifices. May Anna Matea's blessing fall upon you.
Yeah. Okay, great. So yeah, so she takes out, the linen robe first, and then kind of
The white linen robe.
white linen robe first, and then underneath that, just kind of nestled inside, is this like ceremonial dagger. I imagine that it has maybe like a rose motif to the hilt, because this is the rose order, correct?
Mhm.
So yeah, so it has kind of like a rose motif on the hilt. And it's made out of maybe bronze or something like that, some sort of like fine metal. And I think that it feels very cold to the touch, and she just kind of like holds the hilt of it to her breast, and just kind of breathes, sighs in kind of deeply. And I think that she kind of, whispers to herself, to be chosen. It's me. And
Looking
I
into
think,
the mirror.
yeah, absolutely right. There's a mirror there, absolutely. And she like looks up at herself with just this crazed look in her eyes, and she just like smiles incredibly widely, with these crazed eyes at herself. And I think that she then spirits them away, in with her other clothes. I think she's probably planning to kind of rewrap them and have them underneath, or somehow hidden, when she goes with her kind of full ball gown to the spring ball. And she offers kind of, I guess, I don't know. I don't really think that she knows too much about the goddess, other than the fact that she says to bring her heads of gold. And she kind of just silently, like, she meditates on it. I don't think she's praying yet, but she meditates on it. And I think that as she kind of, her eyes drift close, just her vision is just like this raining sea of gold. She falls asleep.
Okay. Georgiana Wentworth, you have a vial of the potion because you palmed it. Are you doing anything with it?
Okay. I guess Georgiana's going to try reach for that voice in her head.
Oh, yes. Excellent.
You always perk up when we say that.
Always listening, always happy to help.
And she's got the vial in her hand. You mentioned before that there was a debt that needed to be paid. If I gave this to whoever we serve, would part of that debt be paid?
No, 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 no. You'd have to give me something of actual value.
Then this is of no value.
Cheap parlor tricks and little stories people tell themselves.
Interesting. Do you know anything of the Hellfire Club? Are they also cheap tricks and stories?
Can you make a let's see. Can you make a history roll for me, please?
Okay. Oh, wow.
So here's the weird thing. You feel like someone is rustling around inside your memories when you ask that question. Like the answer doesn't actually come from her, it comes from you. Well, I mean, no, I don't know much about them. Charlatans and shysters and horrible little men who deserve to be treated exactly the way horrible little men deserve to be treated. But yes, look, I did find some stuff inside your head that you might find useful.
Are you able to share that with me?
Sure, more than happy to. So the Hellfire Club founded, I think, in about 1760, but don't quote me. I'd actually have to go back and read the actual histories. Anyway, main thing is it was basically a club made up of men of a certain age who basically went around and broke all of the social mores of their time. They did claim to worship Satan, hence the name, and be able to do whatever they wanted to do. They presented their activities as if they were occult or ritualistic, but with your knowledge of certain things, you know it was all sort of make believe and fake. So Culverton was running around with that group. That certainly wouldn't have given him any specific or capable occult knowledge. It was all just an excuse to be a horrible bunch of humans beings being a horrible bunch of human beings.
I see. Well, and I guess you'll look at the vial. If this is all trickery, then I think this is something I need to look at more closely when we get back. But for now, and she'll just put it away in, like, I guess a jewelry box or something. Yeah, I'm planning to like set up an alchemical lab or something when we get back. But see what this is, whether they're just giving you guys LSD or something. Anyway, I guess she'll, thank the voice and go to sleep.
I'm always here if you need some help. Always happy to help. And yeah, look, if you want to, if you find yourself in a spot of bother where actual magic was of use, perhaps I could be of assistance.
I will keep that in mind. Thank you for all your help. Although I am getting a lot of lessons about about the dangers of being in debt at this place.
Oh, I should say, by the way, so in case it wasn't clear, I'm not saying the vial isn't magical. I'm just saying it's not very magical.
I will keep that in mind.
A minor goddess of a minor place doing minor things, over worshipped by a bunch of people who don't even remember the basics.
I imagine there's a lot of that these days. But
Yeah.
well, that makes me feel relieved. At least other people will be safe.
Oh, I didn't say that. But anyway, you interpret it however you want. Look, do go to sleep and have a lovely evening.
I guess that makes her feel less less relieved than before, but yeah.
It's almost like it was the intention. Anyway, yes, no. All right. So you all go to sleep. The next morning you wake up. By the way, I guessed right. The Hellfire Club was founded between 1750 and 1770. So I called it on 1760. Thank you very much. Francis Dashwood was the founder. And it was indeed. Interestingly, Benjamin Franklin was a member. There you go. Things I didn't know. When he lived in England before when he studied in England. Yeah.
There are a lot of people in like Parliament and a lot of very famous people who were in it. I think it was basically like really just, people wanting to be edgy and stuff, and they didn't have the internet.
They didn't have the internet, famous,
No.
perfectly worded, and they were certainly trying to be edgy. Okay, so next day comes around. I'm conscious we're running close to the wind here. So what do you guys want to do? The ball is tonight, but so, as some of you are aware, is the ceremony.
Did we want to try pay Culverton a visit? Maybe the rector would be the one, like before when he went to the Williams.
Yeah.
Or, maybe Reginald could go pretending he's like a degenerate gambler and libertine and stuff and wants some
Pretending.
tips. Yeah, pretending.
Pretending. Maybe Reginald could pretend he's a degenerate gambler. It's a useful. There is stuff going on somewhere else, Reginald, but only one of you knows.
Yeah.
Only moi. I think that if my cousin, floats the idea of attending Culbertson's residence, I, gleefully suggest, that it might be good, for me as well to attend to learn more about the cut of the man who is, going to be attending the spring ball, irrespective of whether or not he is a horrible degenerate. It's good to know, it's good to have the measure of your adversary, as I would say to the Viscountess.
Well, we were told that we should not go to Culverton's house without a large contingent of people because he's very dangerous. So would not like to be just sending the two gentlemen in alone to battle against him.
Indeed, a battle of wits is nothing if you are an unarmed man. Best send a woman.
Well, I'm like even wondering if we should bring some reinforcements with us. But I don't know who else we could bring. So I think it'll just be us.
So I was on mute. An armed
I'm just
woman.
trying. Oh, sorry.
Yes. Yeah.
Could we not invite Miss Millwood as somewhat
Oh
of
my
a
goodness,
lure?
no.
As a
Absolutely
lure.
not. No. Oh, Eliza, no, we cannot let her go anywhere near that man. You must protect her and not let Culverton near her at all.
Of course, of course, I've known Miss Millwood for many years, and I would not dare suggest that we put her in direct harm's way. However, if Mr. Culverton is unwilling to greet us, then perhaps, the lure of Miss Millwood might be a suitable ruse. Perhaps we say that she is she may grace his residence with her presence with no real intention of actually having her come.
Well, yes, we could. What do you think, Miss Wentworth?
Well, that reminds me. Have we checked on Miss Millwood recently? Perhaps she's received some word from her brother, or perhaps we should call on Miss Millwood this morning.
That is a very wise suggestion. Let us call on Miss Millwood this morning, and then we can decide how to proceed about Mr. Culverton.
All right. So, I'll expedite that bit. So you go and visit Miss Millwood. She's fine, but she has received no news from Mr. Millwood.
Right.
But she is worried, of course, that if you can't find him, then of course the property will go to Uncle Egbert, who is a horrible lech and monster, and will probably cast her out, as she will have no rights, and she'll be forced to, sew for a living or something of an equal measure.
Yeah.
The only question I've got is this the moment where you plant the seeds of a potential not love match, suitor?
Absolutely.
I reckon maybe he got there this morning and we bring him round to be introduced at a luncheon.
What I want to know is, how does he know? You don't have telegraphs at this point, so it's like
longer than that. But I will take her hand in mine and reassure her that I have her very best interest in heart, and I am been thinking very deeply about how I can help her, and I have a plan, and she shall trust me, and all will be well.
And exactly those words. I have a plan. You will trust me, for I have it all in hand.
Yeah.
And your two wards feel the shuddering horror of, at some point, that is what you're going to say to them. And their lives will be taken, all their agency, all of their control will be taken away in a moment. They have no authority at all. It'll be just like, it's gone in a heartbeat. But of course, Miss Millwood, who is a fine and woman of a proper age and a proper understanding of her role in society, is reassured by the fact that you, a woman of such maturity and wisdom, has sought to solve her problem, and she just trusts that you will find her a proper man.
Yep.
Like a God-fearing man, she even says, a God-fearing man, who will, because she wants nothing to do with the dissolute. She wants nothing to do with drinking and gambling. I mean, she's had her fill of such things,
Yeah.
She just wants a safe, proper man, a proper gentleman who treats her well and does not give in to the devil's own temptations.
Yep. We've got just the fella for her.
Walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm.
Very nice. Very nice. All right. Would you like to make I think it was persuade was your particular...
Yeah, I can persuade people.
It's terribly boring. She is terribly boring, Reginald. That's her role. It's the role she fills.
Yeah. Good. 32. She's persuaded that I've got it all sorted.
Got it under control. I've got it in hand, and she looks at you with absolute faith and confidence and thanks you so much for, even thinking about, bringing to bear your not insignificant, attributes and and
Influence.
capabilities,
yeah.
to help her. She's so
Goodness,
thankful.
I don't have this etiquette of 76 for nothing.
You do not. Okay, so she places her future in your hands and thanks
Yeah.
you for caring so much about her.
Excellent.
All right.
Shall we cut to getting out of the carriage at Culverton Estate?
Yes. Although I think we
Absolutely.
might cut to and stop at getting out of the carriage at the Culvertons.
Yeah.
Because I don't think we're going to get very much further than that.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah. So you go to the Culvertons. You're all traveling as a pack by this point. So you are in a carriage. Actually, you know what? Let's see how we go. Actually,
Yeah.
Yeah.
To answer your question, Reginald, I don't think he's actually being held at Inglemere, but we need to bail up Culverton, the rake, and find out what went down.
Mike, do you
As-
just want to join on your phone like you have previously? We get great audio.
I'm sure you guys can't hear me. Still terrible.
Nah,
terrible.
nah,
Still
Tinny.
terrible. Yeah, join on the phone.
Maybe his microphone is fine, but he's just turning into a deep one.
He might.
Oh,
Maybe.
nice.
Hey,
Yeah. Wouldn't be the first time.
hopefully with this system.
Sorry, Blake.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Now, as we get out of the carriage, I would imagine like I'm not really sure how estates handle carriages. Are they normally like, in front of the house, or they're like in like kind of like a designated spot?
Hold on. Do you mean like carriages at the estate?
Yes.
No, they're normally in a stable. They're kept in a in a building, shielded from the weather and the environment, all of that sort of thing, put in.
They're not cheap,
Is there a stable within eyesight as we exit and begin to
Oh,
walk
absolutely. Yeah, on the
towards?
side of the building, off to the one side. Yeah.
Could I perhaps make a spot hidden roll to see whether there is a glimpse of black and gold?
When you get out, you could.
Lovely. I would love
Should
to do
all
that.
make spot hidden rolls on that note, since you're all assumedly paying attention.
Ugh.
Ooh.
Wow.
Nope.
I made it by 1.
Wow.
The Viscountess is all over it.
Absolutely. This is her episode.
Eagle eye.
Yeah.
I see. I can see it all. Anyway, unfortunately, it's a negative. You do see the carriage, and Sir Culverton does have a black carriage, but it lacks the gold trim that you're looking for.
Interesting.
It has a red trim instead.
Black with red. No.
How common is it for people to have black carriages? Is that quite common?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's even examples like the one that's held at, I don't know if it's held at the Tower or if it's just held somewhere else, but the royal family's carriage from that period is black and gold.
Oh, interesting. So yeah, so it's a no-go.
Well, you're able to say,
No, not him.
Your eagle eyes, Viscountess. If only I live to be as schooled as you in the subtle art of finding what we need to know. It's terrible, absolutely terrible that we still don't know.
So there's a very large building. Culverton is clearly very wealthy. He does not have a small manor house. He has a very extensive holding. It's possibly as big as the North Lakes building back around home.
Yeah.
So and he is a sir. He's not a gentleman. He is definitively wealthy. Hey, Mike, how you going? Can you hear us?
Good, thank you. I'm just going to get rid of this.
Yay, we can hear you now.
Yay.
So nice to
Okay.
hear your voice properly.
Yeah.
It's the babel fish. It is not working properly.
It is the flathead.
You might want to
Mute
mute your PC. Yep.
It does look like it's muted, but there is a little bit of echo.
No. So
Yeah.
his mic is muted, but his speaker's on. So he's getting
No,
speaker
I think-
voices coming out and then being picked up by the mic on the phone.
Right, that's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. All good.
That's what happens when they give an absolute Luddite a new computer. So,
All
Okay.
good. So,
Correct.
I imagine, Viscountess, perhaps you lead the charge, as it were, into the lion's den.
No, very well. Let it go.
Applying wedge.
Present ourselves to the butler,
Mhm.
the footman.
All right,
whoever-
you roll up to the front doors of this giant manor house. A somewhat surly, somewhat, sort of poorly, well, certainly not well presented, although quite wealthily garbed. Servant opens the door. Yes, what can I do for you?
I shall present my card to him. The Viscountess Purbeck and party come to call on Sir Culverton.
Was he expecting you?
It should be.
Owes you money, does he?
Yes.
Right, I'll be right back. He just sort of goes back into the room. After 10 minutes, you hear a shouting voice going, "I don't owe money to anyone by that name." "Yes, my lord, but they insist on seeing you." So there's a somewhat muttered conversation, and the gentleman, the servant returns. "The Lord is pleased to have you arrive and would love to take company with you in the in the tea hall."
Thomas, so are there other servants and things on the outside of that?
Not that you've seen. It's the one servant.
Well,
No, there are. You can
Reginald,
see in the fields there are peasants doing things.
Gardeners trimming.
Okay, well, Reginald probably has his Purbeck livery on, and he'll stay outside with the carriage at this point.
Right.
Do some wandering around.
Okay, so he's going to do his usual. Let me talk to the peasants about peasantry.
Let me offend the peasants mightily.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. I am a dance master and master spy. Only one of those things is true. Anyway, it's not clear which at first. All right. So the servant shows you through to the tea hall, as he called it, which is a large room, a sitting room with a reasonably sizable table. Sitting at one end of it is a tall, heavily built, but quite dashing for all of that figure. But he's in that sort of long flowing, sort of roby type breakfast, like I've just gotten out of bed kind of thing. It's made of silk. He's got a ruffled nightshirt underneath it that goes, down to an indelicate butt and not at all seemly level of leggage. He's sitting there. Withers, make sure you give me the hair of the dog. I'm gonna need it. I can see. All right. Look, I'm sorry. I don't actually know you or your friend.
No, you don't. I just said that to get through the door. I've come to see you about your one-time friend, Mr. Henry Millwood.
No.
His whereabouts is of a great concern to me.
Well, look, I mean, terrible things happen, when you get into debt with people. I mean, I barely knew the man, actually. I mean, sure, we'd played the odd game of cards together, but I can't really say one knows someone, can they? I mean, anyway. Yes, yes, terrible, terrible behavior. I gather he's gone missing. It's very sad.
I think it is stretching the truth somewhat to say that you did not know him, since everyone we played cards with last night told us you were bankrolling him.
Well, that's supposition. I wouldn't call it bankrolling. I mean, giving the odd. I mean, look, the guy was desperate to play. I was just helping him out. Hate to see a man leave the table without having had a chance to win back what he lost. Gave him a bit of money to have a crack at it. He failed. I'd
And
imagine.
then what?
Well, then what? Exactly. I stayed at the table. Don't know what happened to him. Disappeared into the darkness. Probably got beaten up by some criminals. I mean, it's a rough part of town down there. And I mean, you
You
wouldn't
didn't
possibly
get,
know, of course. I mean, a lady of your fine and upstanding nature.
you assume too much. The Culverton,
Not fine or upstanding.
I am fine and outstanding, but I still went to Mr. Fife's and had words with him as well.
I see. Well, how was Mr. Fife?
It was charming, actually. It was quite what I expected.
Yes, well, he does have a type, and I imagine you're it. Anyway, yeah, well, look, I mean, of course, you take the word of a common thug and criminal over the word of a gentleman. I can see that standing up in court.
We're not talking about court here. We are sorting things out.
I see.
Now,
Well, it's quite simple. Henry Millwood owed me an incredibly large amount of money. Rather than paying his debts to me, which of course he'd earned in all of his own volition, I didn't force him into a single one of them, he offered me the hand of his sister in marriage. Considering helping out the family, being the sort of person I am, willing to help a family in desperate need, have accepted his offer. And when you find him, I expect he'll be quite diligent in signing the necessary pieces of paperwork as her guardian to ensure that she's appropriately managed. And of course, I'll be taking care of her going forward. I'm not quite sure what else there is to talk about, really. It seems like a completely reasonable arrangement.
I'm
Yes,
sure it does to you.
Yes, it may seem completely reasonable and perhaps legal, dare I say, Sir Culverton. Miss Hastings is my name. I wonder if
Yes.
Mr. Millwood were to experience discomfort or an unnecessary end. I wonder how much that would sour Miss Millwood's countenance, such that I would imagine be very difficult to spend time with her, even if she is, of course, perhaps a kept woman. I think she'd be much more agreeable if her brother was fine, don't you?
Oh, couldn't possibly say what she might or might not prefer. Um,
But you could suppose, of course. On
well,
a logical
yes,
basis, yes.
sure, yes, I guess so. Yes, all right, yes. Let's
And
assume that she would be happier if she knew what was happening with her brother.
indeed. And so to that end, we understand that a carriage that that was black and had gold trimmings uh, was sighted leaving with Mr. Millwood, and that he was perhaps taken by certain individuals. Do you have any information that might help us locate him and therefore ensure that Miss Millwood's countenance remains as rosy as one might like as a potential married man?
Well, I would have to say, considering the Viscountess has already talked to Mr. Fife, I'd be talking to Mr. Fife and his friends since he owed them so much money. You may all now make psychology rolls, to
Mm.
Reginald's point, because now is the moment where you should make psychology rolls.
Oh,
28.
Jesus Christ.
Wow.
I get to
Wow.
28.
Uh,
Go on.
Oh, shit.
Someone got 100.
Who?
Was that 100? Sure, that was 100.
No, I think there was
70.
a 70, and then when the other dice, virtual dice landed, it moved. I was wondering if that would change it, actually. Wow.
All right. So not a single one of you got the psychology roll. Well, he sounds like he's telling the truth.
I might lean in closer to him,
Okay.
perhaps kind of leaning over the couch with my tea precariously perched in my hand, and gesticulating with my cup, risking indelicacy as my bosom is kind of like,
Oh my God.
very, very Viscountess Purbeck of me.
Right. But without the necessary
No,
authority.
I'm with it's like an A cup. Let's be real. All right, great. I'll re-roll that.
Eliza doesn't have the certain.
There we
traits.
go.
Oh.
Push the roll. Got a regular success.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, he's lying. He clearly knows something more than he's giving up. So his whole sort of countenance of, well, I guess you should talk to Mr. Fife, is a clear hint that he knows something else. Something else.
I think that I'll say to him that very well, Sir Culverton.
Yes.
But I think you should understand that it stands to reason that if we find out you had anything more to do with this, there will be repercussions. Mark my words. And could I roll? Could I roll?
Does one eye spin at that moment? I'm just asking.
No, you know what? She's kind of like she's like grasping her leg very forcefully where she's hidden that dagger.
Right.
Could I roll like a persuade or something to try and impress?
I think you're gonna have to accept that this is an intimidate roll. I don't think.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
That I totally understand. Let's go for it.
Oh my God!
Yes!
Oh,
justice for Louisa. When women support women, women win. Okay,
that's true. That's true. All right, so you lean forward and roughly brush your bronze dagger that you're carrying under your dress, and he sees the outline clearly of the dagger pressed against your dress when you put your hand so hard against it, and makes the connection. And he actually leans forward at this point and whispers into your ear. Highly inappropriate, but whispers into your ear. Look, I can see that you're one of them. We had an arrangement. You take care of him. I find you the sorts of people you want, and it's not my problem. Don't know why you're coming up so heavy on me on this one.
I think that I drop my teacup and saucer,
right?
Like in a show of kind of mock indignancy. And
you look like you're seducing him from where I stand.
Yeah, exactly right. Well, true,
okay.
true.
For goodness sake, Eliza, get a hold of yourself.
Fortnight, another parable for Eliza.
That's right. She likes the bad boys, does Eliza?
Absolutely, 1,000%. And I think that I kind of like, because we're like quite close in that moment, and I kind of like a look of realization dawns over her face, and so when she stands up, she haphazardly drops the teacup and saucer and says something along the lines of the indignancy, and then walks out of the room. So yeah, to kind of like give the illusion that he suggested something incredibly improper to her, and she was offended. Yeah, that's why. Would you want me to do a fast talk to see whether the other people think that I've made something up, or?
I'm rolling my eyes.
Mhm.
Yes, I guess so.
I
Yep, fast talk. Yep,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
seems legit.
I mean, look, I'm happy for other people to kind of like, maybe be able to intuit that that there's
Would
something
it be a
wrong.
listen to hear what he was whispering?
Absolutely.
Yeah, how
It
about
will
that?
be a hard success though, not a just a success.
Okay, great.
Yeah, done it.
Challenge accepted.
Oh yeah.
Don't think the congregation gets away with this.
No, that's right. You've got the ears of a church
Ears of a
reverend who's
vicar.
like church vicar, church rector, who's always
Mhm.
listening
Ears.
to the gossip.
I have
Okay.
to admit, I didn't actually hear what you said the first time. So, would you repeat it for Cedric?
Okay.
Quotation marks, Cedric.
So what he said in rough form, because I won't be able to remember the exact words I used either, was, look, I know, look, I thought we had an understanding. I find the sorts of people you're looking for, and you leave me alone. So stop coming on so heavy.
Mm.
So Rector, that's what you heard as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And then there's a massive disconnect for you in particular with Eliza storming off and feigning something, and that's probably a bit of a kind of head scratcher for you.
I'm kind of looking horrified at what has just been said as well. I'm looking at the Viscountess going, "Mm."
Eliza sold us. All right. If only she had, she'd be so happy. Anyway, on that note, and noting it is 10:15, we shall pause right there. So, in this moment, Eliza has stormed out of the room. The rector has heard words of concerning nature, and the rest of you may make what decisions you want. In a fortnight, which I should be here for, we shall play, no doubt, the spring ball, and what I would imagine will be the end of the adventure. But noting how much time might be spent in the spring ball doing spring ball stuff, I don't want to make that a definitive statement of fact.
Yeah.
Certainly don't
Don't
want to make that.
underestimate us.
That's right. That's
Or
right.
don't overestimate us. I don't know.
I will make no mistake in judging such things. Alrighty, let me kill the live stream.